Thank you for inviting and introducing to all our global masters at Dallas and all around the world. Very glad. So today the topic chosen is art of anti-aging and science of enlightenment. These are all related to my profession. We all know Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. Doctor in Latin means dhuktara. That means who removes, erases the dukkha from the life, for which Buddha actually as a Gautama went out to search for the root cause of or the annihilation of the dukkha. How can we do? This was a $1 million question to the Gautama. He is a pioneer in our medical field. He is a researcher. And today we are practicing how to erase the dukkha. So today I want to focus more on how the dukkha can be transformed into daivatva. Every illness is a door. We always feel that an illness is to make us suffer. No, it is nothing but a well-prepared ground for the wellness. Let us see. I have chosen the art of anti-aging. How many of you want to be ageless? Of course, in the body, we feel the age. We feel the pain. We feel the distraction, disease. But when we are beyond the body, like in meditation, beyond the mind, when we stabilize ourselves in consciousness, in our soul consciousness, then the so-called disease, distraction, age, all those things will become a wonderful platform to experience the divinity. Every pain is to realize our potential. Noppi nirvanaanni, bhada buddhatvaanni, kastamu krishnatvaanni chupistundi. That means if you look into, that's why people always say, look into your life. See your life. How can we see with this simple two eyes? Yes, it is possible. When we look, the so-called our inner potential finds the way. That's why through senses also we can land in superconsciousness. Everything, whatever is visible, will take you to the void. This is nothing but spirituality. Spirituality is not at all required to be happy, because we are basically the so-called bodily, senses oriented. The enjoyment also gives wonderful, penultimate joy. That's why people are not bothered about spirituality. Only 1 to 10% of the people are more bothered about spirituality. I mean to say, through the body also, we can see the Bhagavan. But the basic, the so-called, the roots, when we are aware, we are sure about our enjoyment. When we are in enjoyment, when we are in pain, we are not bothered about other things. Only pain stays with us. In the same way, when we are totally with the body, we can also experience the penultimate. But when we are aware of the roots, when we are aware of our foundation, definitely it will be maximized. That's why spirituality is required. Otherwise, I saw many people after the so-called enlightenment. When I saw the people, those who are entangled in the mundane life, they also experience wonderful, wonderful life. I have seen. That's why in Zen saying, what is after enlightenment? Say, everything appears magnanimous. So, the subject chosen, the art of anti-aging and science of enlightenment, definitely will mold us to maximize our so-called mundane life. Name it, whatever you name it, everything will be maximized when we have the metaphysical life as background. So, we are ageless beyond the body. That's why we should know about the ageless consciousness, ageless living. As you are all doing 111 days of conscious living, the ageless living, it conglomerates or includes the so-called disease-free, deviation-free, distraction-free, disorder-free, all those things. You can be free. It doesn't mean that you have the fear about all those things. You'll be free because your main focus is on the so-called divine. What exactly is divine? Divine is whatever we are experiencing with the senses. When we extend, we can experience through superconsciousness, all our faculties existing within. And when we start applying it, they will be maximized. That is the beauty of understanding about metaphysical life and the meditative life and the so-called enlightenment science. Okay. We all understood that we are consciousness. Are we leaving the body at the time of the death? Or body is living the so-called consciousness? Body, mind, all the senses, all are part and parcel of the consciousness. We understood after understanding our whole picture. So during the pain or any disorder or death, the so-called body leaves the consciousness. Atma, the so-called soul, is not going to leave the body, but body will leave. Why it is leaving? When body understands that I can't bear. So, spirituality makes us to bear the things with benediction, with so much of love. That's why the so-called, whatever the problem, the mundane says it is magnificent for the metaphysical being, for the meditative being. So here, the so-called illnesses. Also, when we look into that, it gradually, for example, the nose is there. When we go deeper and deeper, we can also see the cells. When we go still into the cells, we'll find the so-called mitochondria, ribosomes, organelles, and gradually we'll find the energy. That's why, as is our microcosm, so is our macrocosm. Whatever you are experiencing, the soma is nothing but the super consciousness. If you still go, that's why during meditation, we go deeper and deeper into ourselves to understand the whole of existence. The so-called Atmagnana will evolve into Brahmagnana. That means understanding the self gradually further settles in the Brahmagnana. That means whole understanding of your whole being. So here, when as a doctor, people expects me to talk about illnesses, the root cause, and also as a past life regression facilitator, understanding the deeper cause of the diseases at Karana, that means causal level. If you go still further into Mahakarana, Supercausal level, then there is very minutest purpose. When you go beyond Mahakarana, that's the super consciousness, supercausal level, you will understand that everything is a play. Everything is just for your own. You can't name it as an enjoyment or entertainment or play. Still, in Sanskrit, it is a leela. It is a divine romance. You will have in that state, higher state. So, when you have nose pain or chest pain, your main focus will be on that only. But other organs are very perfect. They're all very normal. We won't focus on the normal thing. We only focus on the abnormal pain in the illnesses. But when you operate from the normalcy to the so-called abnormalcy, then the power, the energy, your potential, it can go and help the pain area, disease area, disorder area. In that way, in medicine, modern medicine, we seek the help of the external pills, surgeries. We depend on the medical expertise. But here, through meditation expertise, we direct our normal potential to go into the abnormal area, the so-called pain area, disorder, distractor area. Of course, when we silence our mind, the cosmic energy flows through the Brahmarandra. This is one concept. This is one concept of meditation. But when you understood that you are the everything, you can direct that energy from you to the wherever the required area. In this way, the self-healing happens. Of course, you should be patient. Patience, perseverance will bring the total potential of you into the existence. So, in this way, the self-healing happens. During the age reversal or anti-aging is not reversal of the aging, but preventing the premature aging. As a hair transplant and aesthetic surgeon, I always say the inner beauty counts. The inner beauty is the root of the so-called fruit of outer beauty. So, when we understood that the shortening of the telomeres of the chromosome results in the cessation of the aging, we can also stop the aging. In higher planes, we all experienced an altered state of consciousness during meditation, hypnosis, bridge techniques. We experience that we are ageless when we go beyond the body and beyond the mind. So here, during anti-aging, I'll take the 5 principles, 5 elements of the body with which it is made of. We may not be knowing the formless, the consciousness, but through the formed elements, we can also experience the wonderful, the so-called existing enlightenment within us. Enormous, exuberant, the energy when we experience, then the so-called already existing, the elements will become an effective doors to the enlightenment. So here, and we all know during the majority of the people will bother about the death. Once we consciously understand how death happens and how we enter the body, initially we leave the body. Later on, we'll experience our energy. After that, astral realms, causal, supracausal. Like that, when you make an effort to transcending all these levels, then we'll understand death is nothing but just leaving whatever unnecessary to us. Life is nothing but necessary and unnecessary. Majority of the people, they seek the disease to evolve. A woman wants to serve the husband, but the husband is so busy. So the husband succumbs the accident. He confined himself to the wheelchair so that she could serve the husband. Very silly reason. Only that's why when we go to the root, then we can correct our life. This is the best teacher for many of the people. That's why they succumb the diseases. Instead, you can choose the divinity, which is everywhere. There is a small anecdote. A small child came with all his arrows and said to his group, I'll kill that demon. You're all very fear about the demon. I'll kill. How can you do that? That is so big. Wherever I shoot with arrow, it will definitely kill. This is the so-called proactive attitude. Disease also is so big for many people. But instead, the divinity is so very much bigger. You can hit very easily. That's why dhyan is there. That's why our Patriji beautifully, when we are house surgeons after MBBS, I met Patriji. Patriji beautifully said, yes, one more dinosaur has come. At the time, Yugandhar, Newton, all were there. So, one more dinosaur has come. Really, that word statement made me to shift from disciple to the guru level. Started teaching all the medical community from the day one itself. I found instead of pills, focus more on the potential, which is there already within you. This made me to do a lot of research with all the patients of neurosurgery and surgical patients after post-operative period, relieving with less medication, going into very nice sleep. Of course, we all know exercise, good food, sleep, all will aid in healing, cure. So here, when people go into deeper relaxation, they will find the ultimate doctor, inner doctor within. Of course, pills will become a placebo. So in that way, my research, in addition to the medical life, also made me to evolve into the metaphysical being. This clubbed and has shown me how true the doctor is Vaidyo Narayano Hari. So here, during anti-aging, when we understand this art, our skin starts glowing. Eyes will be very, very glittery. And will be very, very radiant. This is our natural faculty. This is our natural quality. So, in the initial days, I used to talk about meditation. as an empathy. It's not sharing or transform conversion, but it became my natural state wherever I go. Understanding my dynamism, my creativity, and my effective way of communication all made me to feel that, yes, meditation makes the person a whole being. In anti-aging, we'll also find ourselves that we are total being, not perfect being. That totality exists in all our words, deeds, and moods, unseen moods. So here, if I share my meditation and all those experiences, it will be very, very interesting. But I'll focus more on anti-aging, more on the so-called we are all here to see. I feel that bliss is everywhere. We have to have the eyes to see, heart to feel, and hands to share. We are all blissful beings in this beautiful body. The beauty is not the skin, but much deeper, the soul. When we operate from that consciousness, when we witness our body, mind, and all the senses as tentacles of this consciousness, like the tip of the iceberg, we are existing in this body, but there's so much the underneath, the potential. When we understand, we'll become ageless beings. That's why a master always speaks not about the life. They speak about the death. Dissolution. Dhyana is nothing but dissolution. Dissolve. As Buddha said, I didn't gain anything, but I got rid of many the so-called nonsense things. Dhyan made me to live a sensible being. So here also will become very, very sensitive. Life becomes very, very minute. Contrary is maximum life. Yes, this is only one life. We have to enjoy the maximum life. For the so-called mediocre. For the master, the so-called the micro things will become more magnanimous. It appeared for me. That's why I have not chosen the so-called masses all over the globe or beyond the globe. I have chosen because I have chosen the medical field. That's why doctors, nurses, paramedics, pharmacists, very extensive field is there with so much of compassion and empathy. But only lacking is the art of meditation, the science of enlightenment. So when I started sharing this, not by words, through my actions, just to show that meditation is very, very effective, I wrote the exam of MCH plastic surgery in 3 to 9 days. Usually it takes 6 months to 12 days. I stood state second in plastic surgery. Best outgoing student in MS general surgery. Just to show that I want to show myself that how potential I am. The teacher said they wanted to fail me because I do all these extracurricular activities of sharing the meditation with the nurses. Other PGs and all will be very, very obedient. But a ruthless being, a truth follower, always a ruthless being. So I got an opportunity to show what meditation is. This made me, people always, yes, you are. Whatever you are is, we are very, very jealous about you. Not by skin tone, not by this beauty, but by actions. Anti-aging involves in action. When we are in action, the body and mind will be cohesive. Of course, soul has wonderful potential. The art of meditation is nothing but making the mind to sit with the body. In meditation, we make our body still. Of course, we'll move with the insect bite, but the purpose of meditation is making the body still by sthira sukha, asana, and later the mind has to be nullified. Why mind has to be nullified? The anti-aging starts with mental age reversal first. We all know this is a psychosomatic. The so-called heartburn or the indigestion comes when we are not able to digest the life, when we are unable to release all the so-called baggage, the colon starts, less movement and constipation comes. The psychosomaticity says that when we are not desired of looking into the things very clearly, we'll get cataract or some eye blurring. All this tells that the necessity of the mind nullification in anti-aging. Age is nothing but slowing down. The so-called dynamism, creativity, all the potential, whatever is existing, you start non-utilization. That's why it is said, use it or otherwise we lose it. So gradually, yes, everybody remains to be ageless. All of you keep your hands like this. All of you, including you. I count 1 to 5. When I say 5, you have to clap. Okay? Right. 1, 2, 3. How many of you clapped for 3? Yes. I like you because you followed my action. You followed my action. You are all action-oriented people. But contrary to this, people who clapped for 3 are more reactive people. Responsible people will stay, like our host, maybe knowing this earlier. So, following yourself. Most of the time, we have the habit of fight or flight. But when you follow, what to follow, how to follow, where exactly we should first start, all these things are beautifully said by Gautama Buddha and our Patriji, simplified it. Kudos to them. And here, when we start following, well, how much to eat, what to eat, I say, conscious eating. It is not mindful or heartfulness, it is soulfulness. When we are with that, for example, in anti-aging, if the food is primary important, of course, our Australian Jasmine, like pranic livers, they said prana is sufficient, no need for food, but Patriji always differs with that. You must have uggani bhaji or some tasty food because you have to satisfy our taste buds too. I go with this. So the diet, anti-aging diet is you always make the solids into liquids in the mouth itself. No need to follow how it is going, but be aware of it, the taste of it, smell of it. And second thing is, share the food. Don't eat alone. Always see that you plan it. No need to eat multiple times. Eat with your own, with unknown. And see, the sharing also will multiply. it is said that food, the essence of the food is converted into the mind. I not bothered about it. I'm talking not about the mind, it is about the soul. Soulfully, you just be with it. And if you want to add that this food is going to nourish not only the body, but also beyond the body, and whatever the food, whatever you are eating, it will make you more ageless, more vibrant, more creative, more dynamic. Definitely, when we believe the doctor and the pill, it will add on to your healing. In the same way, the food is medicine. When you are meditative, and we all know, the so-called, the 5 elements, the so-called simple ways of mingling with the nature. Of course, why should we be with the nature? It will help you to be with your nature. That is an indirect way of turning within. So nature is so potential, so tremendous way of enlightening opportunity to show the essence of you. So food, and we all know the so-called, I do anti-aging, all the reversal, the so-called exercises, whatever I'll demonstrate you whenever. Very simple exercises, but will make you, people will say that you have become a very younger. You are so kid-like. When we see you, your face, the smile, you are just kid-like. Of course, the purpose of doing meditation and understanding the spirituality is looking the inner child, pampering your own self, realigning to your own unlimited, not childish, childlike. And people won't become selfish, but will become selfish. So in that way, food and exercises will help. But the meditation, I'll tell you how to observe this body initially, and smiling at the so-called pain or some disorder, whatever the pain you have, just filling that area with smiles. The spectrum begins with a smile and ends in bliss. Of course, smile is our outward expression, but it will take you to the bliss. It is a very shortest. Darahasa to dhyana. That's why in WhatsApp and all our circles we say, smile. What is there in the smile? If you soulfully smile, it will land in, stabilize itself in the bliss. In that way, you start looking at any pain with a smile and spreading the smiles. Beautiful thing is the so-called pain or anything that will dissolve when we look into this. This is what anti-aging speaks about. Of course, you are bothered about aging. You are bothered about that skin wrinkles. Of course, skin wrinkles are nothing but extra smiles on the face. So, wrinkles and the pigmentation, all those things, shriveling, all those things are signs of aging. But when we start aging, when we start non-utilization, there was a museum and a politician came and asking the host, what is the cost of this brain? Because his son was having some mental retardation. He said, it is of poets, it is 10 lakhs. Next one is 1 crore cricketer's brain. And the last one is multi-crores. There is a Pakistani politician brain. Why there is so much of cost for this Pakistani politician. Politicians, they won't use any brain. That's why the cost is more. Use, or otherwise we lose it. So here, the utilization. This is nothing but love. Of course, the definition of the love is realignment. When we are realigned, we can also align by our own vibes. The next one. Of course, the intimate beings, they're all, the body, mind, all will be cohesive. That's why the so-called total evolution, it appears on both sides in the name of love. But in the roadless traveled by Scott Peck, love is nothing but a communication. It is not bodily communication. It is soulful communication. Anti-aging also makes you, we all know, food, sleep, and intimacy, all are the bodily oriented primary prerequisites. In anti-aging, you will enjoy this primarily bodily oriented. Of course, life is nothing but quantumized or quantized or measured in the outer expression, the body. So whatever the bodily requirements we have, it appears very, very total. And while eating, we'll be eating alone. We won't bother about. There was a Zen master was asked to take a lecture. In the TV, suddenly it came that earthquake is coming. All started escaping from that area. The host asked the master, "Master, is going to come. Run, run, run." He said, "No, I'm running within." So, where you run, people are always run after money, run after the fame, but run after the ruinless romance within. So here we'll find an anti-aging, we'll find no need to be, we won't compare with the people, we won't judge, we won't have the opinion, but you are more about your own being. That's why when we start from ourselves, life appears, the so-called detachment, what we say, will be just witnessing everything. The beauty of meditation is, it may start with observing the breath, but we'll observe many things. From where? Not from the other's point of view, from our point of view, because everyone is unique. Our life is to adore, appreciate, admire all the uniquenesses around. The purpose of Dhyana Jagat or the so-called Adhyatmic Jagat, all Jagats are, yes, we are enlightened. There is no doubt in it. But we want everyone to be enlightened. The meaning of enlightenment is a misnomer. Like when ship is there, if we remove one bolt, one seat with other thing, gradually we'll replace the boat. But we call the boat only, even though all parts are changed. We also daily, we change ourselves. The cells will die after some months, 120 days. But still we say that we are the same. Here change is happening. Yes. When we understand that, we can change ourselves. There's one more principle of anti-aging. We can change. What we can change? Yes, keep two of your two hands like this. Do opposite directions. We all know meditation makes us multitasking. Okay? and do this in forward direction, this one in backward direction. Do simultaneously. No, you can do it. You can control your husband. You can control your work simultaneously. Yes, try to do it. How many of you could do forward and backward direction? Good. Why? My question is, why you are not able to do? Why people are not able to do? Why only meditators can do? Or we all know our enjoyment is directly proportional to our awareness. Meditation improves our awareness. Awareness of our own being. The being is beautiful. Anti-aging says that be in that beautiful state, then everything appears beautiful. When we respect everything as beautiful, definitely people will also stay. Wow, Dr. Hari, your smile is good. Your skin is radiating, glowing. Your dress sense is good. What a wonderful surgeon you are. Not only your loved beings, all people will say that is the mark of enlightenment. No need to express when two masters come together, no words. For enlightened one, all will be enlightened. That's why when I met Patriji, no need for asking any questions. And I felt that everything is full. And I maintained just for having joy and having food with him and seeking that senior well-wishers presence, and felt that I'm looking at my own mirror. All these experiences are very, very fine. When we are with this, definitely, that ageless, don't bother about coloring the hair or Botox or tummy tuck surgeries or some other. They're all, if at all you want to beautify. Yes, woman has to beautify. In the same way, men also, because who will be there to appreciate the woman? Man has to be there. The main job of the man is to appreciate the woman, because God is not, we don't know about the God, and we didn't realize our mother is our God and father, guru. At least your partner, you have to, or fellow woman. So when we start, woman will reveal. The beauty is she is not only the giver. In anti-aging, the giving, not only for giving for the construction of the pyramid or annadana, first giving, gift to ourselves. This is one of the best anti-aging principle. Daily gift yourself. I used to, in 1995, daily I thought of sharing meditation, because at the time, that was the best help I can do to the people. So that's why I thought of sharing at least 100 people per day, everywhere. Any tough client, always, yes, Dr. Hari will clarify. I used to say most of the time in Kannur, Buddha pyramid at that time. I was Ekalauta Putra, no brothers, no sisters. So I was a wonderful free bird at that time. So after house agency, sitting there, sharing about meditation, I used to do mediumships, channeling, because I was a less book reader at the time. Of course, when I started coming in more than 70 TV channels, I read the books. What for? Where exactly the author stopped saying. I used to talk after that. The essence, whatever in the books, I used to extend for me, because already it is there, already realigned. So how best my angle? So when I used to speak, I used to do not an experiment. It was like a flow. In thousands of the people, I used to pick up the people, tell about their mind. Whatever I say, it appeared very, very right. After 3 or 4 years also, people also said, sir, whatever you said, it is nothing but unleashing our potential. I taught this to all my medical doctors, how to assess the mind from the heart. It is not by mind reading or horoscope or something else, but just speaking, you become a wonderful channel. This is one way of becoming oneness. So I taught this to many of my juniors when I was in MBBS. So now people are with a MD, DM, MCH. They say, sir, you taught meditation to us. Not only surgery, but also this. And very art of becoming one. See, this is most required for the doctor. So most of the time we see the investigations and we write the pills. But when we become, we touch the body, we read the mind, we go to the heart. That's why holistically we can observe. That's why doctor profession is there. It's nothing but wonderful opportunity to look into deeper. Of course, meditation takes you to look deeper and deeper, the divine. So here is an opportunity. Even though I'm beautiful, handsome, I look into the mirror. Why? Recheck, reconfirm. In the same way, patient is also, for me, is nothing but a divine opportunity to look myself there. Of course, pain is there, but I operate from the non-pain area. During this, I'll show why this past life karma made them. Actually, it is not karma. Earlier, I used to do all this regression, progression, paragression, all those things. Now, just straight away look into that because I am the energy. When I'm here, definitely, it is nothing but see all those things are when are business oriented or expanding attitude, the interest, it may be right. But when we are total, when we are complete, definitely it will. It's nothing but a mark. So every doctor, every healthy giver, if they understand that they're the channel, they're the wonderful potential being, definitely it's very micro things. That's why doctors, they won't enjoy the outside world. They will be always with the patients. They can Paramatma, the potential, total, everything. The patients itself. That's why in the Taoism, people say, what is after enlightenment? Everything is similar, but more, more and more. That's all. The so-called in the nature resorts we do, where we start flowing. Like ageless, we also feel bodiless. When we are bodiless, definitely we'll understand with the help of the water. And because body is made up of more than 70% water. So here, next, when we are beyond, when we understood or flow with the water, we can also understand the flow like life. Water knows how to mold into different vessels. In the same way, with the snorkels, we'll go deeper into ourselves, much deeper. Snorkels will help you how to work with your energy, more deeper energy. And here with the water. And in the same way, we'll also do with fire. With the fire. Okay. I think only up to water is kept. Right. So, and with the fire, earth element, and the so-called space element, when we do with the earth, we'll get that grounding. How to derive the so-called unconditional love, patience, forbearance with the help of the earth elements. The earth element in our body is in the form of the bones, muscles, whereas water in the lymph, blood, and the serum. So when we go to the fire, we'll understand the so-called fire within us and the qualities like detachment, attachment and detachment, all those innate qualities we are going to understand. Simple method. Since I am a surgeon, I want to give the experience of your total self. This is called what your enlightenment. Enlightenment is nothing but seeing everything as light and taking everything very, very light. So how can you, the light bodies, when you experience light bodies, then only you can experience the light everywhere. This is what is enlightenment. It is already encrypted. It is there within. So no need to, it is not acquisition. It is nothing but becoming aware. This is what a master, like all of us, no need to tell about all those things. But our presence will always speak about what we are. When we give least importance to our words, transformation happens rather than information. It's not religious conversion. It is always when we aim at. So leaving the body at will happens. And we can also see this one. Living, first understanding the body sensations during our meditation, later shifting to the energy body, next observing your thoughts, next deeper roots. Like that will stay at our consciousness. We'll see how the beautifully the body, the importance of the body in other meditations. So it is not meditation, it is witnessing. Meditation usually begins with our breath and land in our blissful state. That's why we say Swastiti lone swastita. That means Swastiti, your own true state, is the true companion of yourself. The so-called all the misconceptions will be shattered, and you are the existence. That's all. And wherever you are there, you will enjoy your own, the essence fountain. This is what we had to do. After death, body may not be there. All other things will be there. All our extravaganza, existence, you have it. That's why in the body we do very little. Of course, we can do true R&D, karma kshetra in this kshetra. The so-called volatile experience will be solidified in the soma, in the body. That's why body is there. That's why you have to have the body. Why you have to make it ageless? Because so much to enjoy. In Regression, I understood that we exist in different planes. In the manifestation also, when we are applied, it's all in the quantum field. Everything is already existing. Only thing is you have to tune. Here, you are existing. When I was doing my 1996 meditation, walk-in mechanism happened. I thought some Himalayan master, like Sadhana Yogi and all such consciousness had added to me. But I understood that I am existing everywhere. So that consciousness, I could experience it. Initially, it will be there. Only addition, acquisition, attainment. Later on, becoming aware of yourself. Then you are everything. This is what a master. Nothing but no grandmaster or super grandmaster. We already in that. So when we are in that, your true state is fountain, blossoming. That's all. It appears like sharing. It is not at all sharing. It is when we understand, then when we lose the body, we are not losing anything. When we lose anything, nothing. This is what Patriji sir once said. People have said, sir, pyramid there, very big pyramid is there. What will happen, sir? One senior master asked. I am not at all bothered about it. It is not at all linked to that. Of course, our actions will be understood by different people in different means. We are not bothered about it. When we bother about ourselves, this is true enlightenment. So then only will be ageless, beautiful, handsome. And of course, like when we post, people will start liking and all the things. That is their job. And you have given opportunity for them to appreciate. And whenever people are appreciating, you are making their heart less heart attacks. Okay, heart healthy. So you are giving opportunity. So when we think in that way, that's called self-centered, This is true enlightenment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. That's a wonderful awareness. We enjoyed throughout the session.
One tough question by you.
Yeah,
Short
yes, sir.
answers.
We have a question, sir, from participants. Shrikant is
Usually a
asking.
master will make the people questionless. For that sake, I asked. In the presence of a master, no questions will be there. Only experience will be there.
Definitely.
Still, we invite one or two for short answers.
Definitely, sir. Yeah, we have only one question. Does fear comes from past lives?
People always come to me, sir, what happens if I come to know my neighbor is my husband in the previous life? What happens if I won't come from the past life? Actually, past life is not knowing, it is an understanding. We'll understand various steps are there. In the tunnel experience, we'll understand that we travel through the Sushumna. In the mother womb, of course, we'll have a lot of fears. If you have mother was fearful, definitely we succumb. The fear is from the mother most of the time because soul is fearless. So once we experience the bliss of the mother womb, that's why salutations to all the mothers, we'll regain that bliss. Next thing is going through the tunnel is nothing but in the process of the regression or past life understanding experience, we'll travel through the Sushumna. Most of the time, Ida Pingala will be there. But Sushumna travel, like what happens in inner travel, we jump into the light world. There, we'll experience that we also extend beyond the body. Death experience is most important. In that, see, most of the people have the fear about the death, which is the root cause of all the fears. Fear of isolation, fear of abandonment, fear of failure. All those things are rooted in the death fear. Once we understand how to consciously die, of course, in my anti-aging sessions also, how to consciously die and how to say bye-bye to the world at will, I teach, train the people. Those who are interested to know what is beyond the death. Because most of the people live every moment dying. But kshanam chastar. But once you understand that the death process, will understand the life review. In the same way, you have to, before going to sleep also, when you have that life review also, looking at your own life becomes your habit. And going to the transpersonal plane, in the life between life state, will design our life. So all these are there in the past life understanding. It is not simply knowing that I am Jhansi Lakshmi Bai or Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel or Mahavatar Babaji disciple. It is not like that. We'll understand the root that is linked to all our existence now. But past life understanding appears very, very great subject. But there are so many things also, you can go beyond. What I share in the anti-aging sessions, straight away you can go. You can hit and you can become that. There is no acquisition. It is only the acquiring. So fear comes, false evidence appearing real. But true evidence, when it comes, it becomes a truth. Truth is always not careless, it is fearless.